everyone! We're currently doing a Kickstarter for The Magpie. It's a horror comic about a lesbian love triangle with an elder god. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go check it out in the link in the description down below. Also, I'm at Anime North right now. I'm in the Pro Plaza at table 13. Please bring me Pocky and Ramune because I am tired and I need your love and support. I don't know. But yeah, please come say hi if you're at the convention. I'd love to talk to you and talk about comics, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. Cool. Okay, today I am working on designs for some characters for 9 Point. Okay, so that's what I'm always doing on these. But yeah, so I'm working on a bunch of the raccoon characters. So the main character, Marble, he is a cat, but he is raised by raccoons. And so I am drawing his stepdad, Ember, and a bunch of Ember's friends who also befriend Marble. So Ember has this like gang of cute raccoons. They go around and cause mischief. They also probably wouldn't appreciate being called cute. But yeah, but they're adorable because they're raccoons. Yeah, so in the past I've been struggling with Ember's design. It turns out my interpretation of him was very different than what Bones intended. So I was imagining like this really kind of schlubby, sweet guy, who's like tough, but like has a little paunch or something because he's a dad. But Bones was like, no, he's like a cool rogue dad. So I was like, oh, okay. So I've taken it in a different direction than the last video where I was trying to draw Ember. And I was drawing him really boxy, where now I'm thinking more like triangular and angular, so that he looks a little less like slow and like bulky and maybe looks a bit more like cunning and tough. I hope. So yeah, sometimes character design can go in weird directions, and it's very important to talk to your writer so that you know what they're expecting. I mean, like, because it's not like what Bones is talking about is absent in the script. We just interpreted the character two different ways. Because I was seeing like a really sweet, like typical dad character who's like well-meaning but a little bumbling, and Bones was like, no, he's supposed to be really cool. So yeah, talk to your writer, make sure you're on the same page so that you're not designing the character wrong. But honestly, it's okay if you go in the wrong direction. It's always good to like figure out what not to do so that you can figure out what to do properly. Yeah, don't be afraid to like try something really weird and out of the box either, because you never know what you'll get. Like in the last video, with the drawings of Ember that I did, like one of them had him really like angular and like looking more muscular and like cool looking, and Bones was like, yeah, just do that. And I was like, oh, I didn't like that one, but you know, as I've said. So yeah, don't be afraid to try lots of different stuff and like iterate on your designs a whole bunch, because that's how you'll get really good designs. I also have been... Another strategy I wanted to try was to draw all the characters together. But yeah, a strategy I wanted to try today was to draw all of the characters, like, together. Sometimes that can really help, like, push the characters to look different if I see them all side by side. Because if I'm drawing them all, like, in isolation, it is very easy for me to fall on my defaults, and then all my characters will end up looking the same because I couldn't, like, compare them. So, like, I mean, when I am comparing characters, designing characters, I will grab all of them and put them in a lineup, but that's usually closer to the end of the design process in the past for me. And it has resulted in some characters looking very, very similar. And you don't catch it until you've designed all these characters. So since I was struggling so much with Ember's design, I decided to grab his friends and try to draw all of them together to really push their differences more. Honestly, in today's session, they all do kind of look a little too similar for what I want, but that's okay, because I can always like keep working on them and keep pushing the differences so that they really do look like super different characters, while also looking like they're from the same universe. That's also important with character design, is when you have them all like lined up, you want to make sure that they all seem like they fit in the same world. You know, if you have this, like, these characters here, they're on a team. You know, I want them to look like they all hang out with each other and that they fit together. Whereas, say, like a villain character and maybe like the hero character, I'd want them to look very different, to show that they're on like different teams, I guess. So it's really important to compare your characters when you're designing them. It helps to do it early on, but I guess it doesn't hurt to do it later. You can always keep pushing their design, like, right up until you ship the comic, I guess. But yeah, don't be afraid to push it and test things out early. That's something I'm learning more and more and more the more I do design work and comics, is to just, it's that saying, like, fail fast, because you're not going to know you've made a mistake until, like, you fail. No, that's not it exactly. You're not going to improve if you're not making mistakes. So it's best to, like, realize you're making mistakes really early on rather than to get to the end and then have to scrap a whole bunch of work. So yeah, so that's what it means when they say fail fast. Because, yeah, if you can run through mistakes and figure out what you're doing wrong really early on, you can catch it before it is a very big, expensive mistake. And it could be expensive. Oh. Bones scared me. So yeah, it could be expensive time-wise or money-wise or whatever. So I guess time is money. Capitalism. Yeah, so I guess I'll go in a little bit about, like, the different designs of each character here. So I've talked a bit about Ember, so he's the main character's stepdad. He's cool rogue dad. He's supposed to be, like, short, but, like, handsome. You know, roguish, you know? But he's still, like, a small guy, because he's a raccoon. Bones just leaned over and told me he's the Han Solo of raccoon dads. Yeah, so that's Ember. Handsome, cool dad, who's smooching your mom, but also loves you and wants you to do well. Yeah, so that's Ember. So the other members of his squad are Puff, Matches, and Sprout. So they are all boars. Boars being the male raccoons, because male and female raccoons don't really hang out when they're grown-ups. So the men kind of go off, and the women kind of have their little. In this case, they have, like, a little village type thing in the woods with, like, a little fishing area, and all the women's all the lady raccoons hang out with their kits, and the men kind of go off. And Ember has this gang that hang out together, and so Ember is dating Marble's mom, and then the other guys, I don't think they're dating any of the lady raccoons. They don't have game, so. Right, so Puff, I based his design around circles, because he's supposed to be very fluffy and squat. The problem is, with the designs I have drawn out so far, he looks a lot like Penny, which is Ember's fiance and Marble's mom. So I really have to change that so that he doesn't look exactly like another character that is already in the story. So I really want to push his design to look a bit more, I guess, like, gruff, because he's like a tough guy, but he's, like, really short and fluffy. So I want to be able to show both of that in his character. But I think I have the general idea down so far. So then in total, like, I guess, contrast to Puff, there's Matches, who is super tall and lanky. Bones basically told me, like, imagine a match that's been lit where like the top is all like charred and scraggly. Yeah, that's matches. So just draw that, but like as a raccoon. So I've definitely been struggling with like getting the kind of scraggly weirdness of him down. He's definitely contrasts the other characters just because he's so tall and lanky, but I really need to push it more. That's what I'm finding with all these like characters. It's just like keep pushing it, keep showing their personality a little bit more. But I found like my character designs so far for 9 Point have been better than what I've done in the past, just because I'm forcing myself to push harder and harder to get more distinct characters. Yes, and then the final member of the gang is Sprout. He's a young raccoon. I think he's the youngest of the group. He's kind of nervous and shy and is always like, guys, maybe we shouldn't do this. So I wanted him to look kind of sweet and like round. Not as round as Puff, but still like, soft edges. Like he's got a little bit of a paunch, I imagine. And like a little sweet face. He's not as roguish as the other ones. So those are the boys. It definitely helped having them all side by side because I could really push the differences a little bit more. And so I did, my top row of drawings is like the initial iterations of them, and then I tried to push it again even further in the second line of characters. Yeah, just keep pushing at the designs until they're right. And I definitely need to still work on them more, but they're coming along. I'm surprised I got this drawing session in. It's been a bit of a whirlwind week. We've been super busy. Part of it is like preparing for conventions, but like a big wrench has been thrown in some of our plans. So I'm glad I'm still able to work on the 9 Point development stuff, even when things get crazy, because it really is just sitting down for like half an hour and drawing characters. And like it's kind of therapeutic to like just sit down and draw and just focus on a task instead of worrying about like all the other stuff that's going on. So yeah. If you ever want to relax, try to draw characters. That's a lie. I find design work can be very stressful. I think part of it is like I have trouble, what's the word? I think like justifying decisions, because that's like the most important part of design. Okay, it's not the most important part, but it's an important element of design is being able to find reason behind your decisions. So when you're designing a character, like for the most part, you shouldn't do something just because you like it. And that sounds really rude, like, because I think you should be able to, like, be self-indulgent with your art. If you're like, I want the character to look this way, like, go for it. But if you want designs that really show the character's personality, like, all decisions about the design need to reflect that. So take Ember, for example. Like, when I was struggling with his design, I was like, I really want to make him blocky and, like, schlubby, and, like, it just wasn't working. And, like, I tried to, like, justify it to Bones, being like, well, this is how I picture him. Like, he's a really sweet dad, and he's kind of bumbling, but he's also cool and muscular. And Bones was like, no, that just doesn't work. He's supposed to be like this. Like, I guess it's easier because I do have, like, Bones working with me as a director. So, I do find it harder when I'm trying to draw, say, like, one of my OCs or trying to do, like, design work for just myself, where making those decisions about, like, you know, should he be more angular or should he be more, like, have a more round body type, I do spend a lot of time going, like, is this the right decision? Is this, like, the right shape I should be basing them off of? And that can get really exhausting mentally because you're always questioning yourself and like trying to think of like a better way to do things. So like doing the iterative drawing where I do like a whole bunch of different ideas really quickly does help. But when something's not working and like it's just like a struggle to get through like 30 drawings of the same thing but slightly different, like that can be so exhausting. Yeah, I guess it just depends on like what kind of mood you're in if you want to do design work, because sometimes I do find it super easy and calming, and then sometimes I'm like, I hate everything. What does help is having like a goal set in mind. So for this one, I was like, I'm going to draw all of these characters in the gang and in like a lineup and really start to figure out how they look and start seeing how they look in comparison to each other. Whereas if I just sit down with like no idea of what I want to do, it can be really tough. If I'm like, I want to design a character, like something that vague, like I'll get nowhere. Nothing good will come of it. But if I sit down with like, I'm going to design this main character, this is their personality, this is the type of clothes they like to wear, this is like their hobbies, like it becomes a lot easier to start justifying my design decisions. It stops being about like what looks cool, and it's mostly like what represents this character and also looks cool. But yeah, things have been a little crazy. Yeah, I'm very thankful to be able to have time to still work on this stuff. Because 9 Point is like a long way away on like the to-do list. It's a comic that Bones and I are super excited for, and Bones has like written volume 1 and 2 of the script, and that's so cool. And like I'm really excited for like the future of it, but it's very far away art-wise, partly because I'm working on The Magpie, which is our other comic. And like, you know, Bones and I have other just day-to-day work that comes up that keeps getting in the way. And I have a ton of design work to do before I'm even allowed to touch any of the comic pages, because I really want the quality of 9 Point to be like way up there and really well thought out. So sometimes it feels like I'm not making any progress at all with it. Like, I've designed some of the main characters that appeared in the prologue. And like the main character, Marble, he has several designs, and his design is becoming like way more refined than everyone else's because he was like the first design we ever did. So I've had lots of time to like think about it and like really refine it. But yeah, because there's so many characters that I need to design, and then sets I need to design, and you know, everything about it that I have to work on, it can be very like, I guess it's hard to stay motivated when you feel like you're not making any progress in it, and it's like you've just taken like a spoonful out of a mountain. Like you're like, how will I defeat this mountain? But yeah, you just gotta keep spooning that mountain. What is this metaphor? I'm really tired. Yeah, that went off the rails a bit, but I still mean what I say. It can be discouraging when you're not making much progress, and sometimes I like look at the document of like design needs, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get this done. I just gotta remember to have fun and keep working at it, keep designing characters, and just like rework the main characters a lot so that they just get super like tight and really, really great design-wise. Because like, honestly, the longer I wait, the better my art's gonna get, I guess, because of all the practice I'll be putting in the meantime, so that when we do finally like get to the actual pages of 9 Point, like my art skills are gonna be like hella leveled up, I hope. So out of left field, Bones has asked me, how did my first experience with Ramune go? So if you've never had Ramune, it's like a pop fizzy carbonated drink, and it's sealed with a marble at the top. I think it's a Japanese drink, and they give you like a little, I guess it's like a plunger thing that you balance on top of the marble, and then you smack it so that the marble falls in, and then you can like actually drink the drink. And so it's really fun. Like I always get it at conventions because it's just like a convention staple since I was like young. So back in like high school when I first had it, God, I can't remember. I can't remember if like I was holding it or Bones was holding it. But anyways, so we didn't know what to expect. So he grabbed it and he smacked the plunger down, and Ramune went everywhere. No, it wasn't your first. See, that's a way better story. So Bones just told me that his first experience with Ramune was that he had to hit it with a phone book to get the marble to go in. Oh, Anime North. See, Anime North was like the convention I went to like as a youngin'. It was like my first con ever, I think. No, that's a lie. I went to Fan Expo when I was like really young. But anyway, so Anime North was the first one I went to like just with friends, not with parents or anything. So yeah, lots of good times. But okay, I'll get you a ramen. But yeah. Okay, so I think I'm out of time. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or if you'd like to submit a video topic, please leave a comment down below. Also, please take a look at our Kickstarter if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this about comics and comic design and writing comics and all that cool stuff. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!